ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। The last class we saw the shloka up to the 12th shloka. The first chapter up to 12th shloka we have seen so far. Okay, we can chant from the 10th shloka onwards. Aparyaptam tadasmakam. You can repeat. Aparyaptam tadasmakam.
Aparyaptam tadasmakam.
Bhishmabhirakshitam.
Balam Bhishmabhirakshitam.
Aparyaptam tvidamete-sham.
Aparyaptam tvidamete-sham.
Balam bhimabhirakshitam.
Balam Bhimabhirakshitam.
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu.
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu.
Yatha bhagamavastitaah.
Yatha bhagamavastitaah.
भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु
भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु
भवन्तः सर्व एव हि
भवन्तः सर्व एव हि
तस्य सञ्जनयन् हर्षम्
तस्य सञ्जनयन् हर्षम्
वृद्धः पितामहः
पितामहः
सिंहनादं विनद्योच्छैः
सिंहनादं विनद्योच्छैः
शङ्खं दद्मौ प्रतापवान्
शङ्खं दद्मौ प्रतापवान्.
To this shloka we have seen in the last class. So up to the shloka number 11, starting from the shloka number 3 onwards, are the words of Duryodhana. As Duryodhana spoke, those words were reported, as reported by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. Then in the 12th shloka, we saw that Pitamaha Bhishma, in order to create a courage, a utsaha in Duryodhana, Singhanadam Vinadya, roaring loudly like a lion, Shankam Dadmau, he blew his conch. So now, since he blew his conch, now the others and the army and also the Pandavas and the Pandava army, everybody will start blowing their conches and beating their drums. This is this blowing the conches and beating the drums shows the preparedness, the readiness for the fight. So before the fight starts, they show the readiness. So now the 12th shloka that we have done, now 13th shloka. 13th shloka onwards we have to see, we will read shloka number 13. You can repeat. Tata shankascha bhairyascha Navanaka Gomukaha Sahasevabhyahanyanta Sashabdastu mulo bhavat So Tataha means after. After what? After Bhishmacharya. After Bhishmacharya, he blew his conch. He blew his conch. Tataha refers to that. Thereafter, after Bhishmacharya, he blew his conch, and then following him, others also, they showed their readiness by beating their instruments of the war. All types of instruments, blowing instruments, beating instruments, all kinds of instruments. Following the action of Bhishma, he initiated by blowing his conch and roaring like a lion. Then the entire army of Duryodhana, they also exhibited the readiness for the battle by blowing their conches and Gomukaha means cow horns, and beating the various kinds of drums, trumpets, all these different sounds, all these different sounds were blasted immediately and simultaneously from the different sides of the Duryodhana army. And the noise was so much, so tremendous and so frightening. Saha Shabdaha Tumulaha Abhavat. Saha Shabdaha, it was tremendous, it was frightening. Tumulaha Abhavat. So the word Tataha, Tataha is Avyaya, meaning then, after, Shankaha, conches, Bheri, Bheryaha, Bheryaha is kettle drums, Bheri. Then Panava, Anaka, Gomukaha. Panava is an instrument, Anaka, another instrument, Gomukha, another instrument. So the three instruments are put together in the form of a compound. Panavanaka Gomukaha. Panavascha, Anakascha, Gomukaha cha, Panavanaka Gomukhaha. All these are instruments. Panava is tabors. Anaka, trumpets. Gomukha, the cow horns. All these were blasted forth, and the sound was Tumulaha. It was shaking the earth. It was frightening and shaking. So Tata Shankascha, Shankaha, Shankaha Bhagavachanam. Tataha Shankaha Bhagavachanam. All kinds of conches. All kinds of conches, which the Pandavas as well as the Kauravas, all were started making sound. They started blowing the conches. First started from the Kaurava side and then picked up by the Pandava side. That is going to come later. So Shankaha is Akaranta Pullinga Shabda. Shankaha, Shanko, Shankaha. So Shankaha means many conches. Many conches. Similarly, Bheri. Bheri is the drum, the beating drum. Bheryaha, Nadi Shabda, Ikaranta Shabdavat. Nadi, Nadyo, Nadyaha. Bheri, Bheryo, Bheryaha. All these are Bhagavachanam. Shankaha, Bheryaha, Panavanaka Gomukaha. That is also Bhagavachanam. Panava is a type of drum. Anaka and Gomukha, these are also instruments for blowing. And all these instruments, Sahasa eva abhyahanyanta. Sahasa means simultaneously, at the same time. Yugapat. Sahasa means simultaneously. Yugapat. Abhyahanyanta, were sounded. Tataha Shankaha cha Bheryaha cha Panavanaka Gomukaha Sagasa eva Abhyahanyanta. Abhyahanyanta is a passive. This is a passive voice. All these instruments were sounded, blasted forth. Abhyahanyanta. Now, when all these instruments make sound, you can imagine how much will be the decibel of the sound put together. 11 Akshoginis on the Kaurava side and 7 on the Pandava side. So putting together, there will be thousands, millions of people. Millions of people beating their drums, blowing their conches simultaneously. Therefore, Saha Shabdaha, that noise. Saha refers to the noise, the Shabda, which were produced as a result of this blowing of conches and beating of drums, other instruments. That Shabda, that noise, Tumalaha, it was huge, it was tremendous, and it was reverberating all around. Tumalaha Abhavatu. So following Bhishmacharya, others started making sounds with their instruments, and because of that, Sashabdaha Tumulaha, that Shabda was The Shabda was frightening. It was earth shaking. Then after this, when the Kauravas, they show the readiness, then the Pandavas, when the entire Duryodhana army, when they declared their readiness by blowing their instruments, it means they are calling for war. Now it is on the side of the Pandava. The response has to come. So Pandava also now will respond. So up to this shloka, starting from the third shloka onwards, starting from the shloka, sixth shloka onwards. So these were the descriptions of the Kaurava army, starting from the sixth shloka onwards. Seventh shloka. Start Asmakam tu Vishishtaye Tani Bodhat Dvijotama. Starting from that shloka onwards up to this shloka, these shlokas were the description of the Kaurava Sena, Kaurava army. Now after this, the description of Pandava is going to start. So now after the Kauravas showed the readiness for the war, now it is on the side of Pandava. How they respond to the war cry of the Kaurava. That is going to be started from the 14th shloka onwards. So the Anvaya of the shloka, 13th shloka is Tataha Shankaha Bheryaha Panavanaka Gomukaha Cha Sagasa Eva Abhyanyanta. That is one sentence. Then Saha refers to that Shabdaha, Saha Shabdaha. Shabdaha, that sound, that noise. Tumulaha Abhavat. It became, that noise was huge. Tumulaha, it was a huge noise, frightening noise. Tumulaha Abhavat. Sashabdaha Tumulaha. Tumulaha means it was Goraha, it was frightening noise. Then the next shloka, 14th shloka. So 13th shloka, two sentences we can make from the shloka. I gave in the form of a sentence, that is called Anvaya. Now the 14th shloka. Tatashvetair hayair yukte.
Tatashvetair
Mahatisyandane stithau. Madhavah Pandavaschaiva.
Pandavaschaiva.
Divyau Shankau Pradadmatuhu.
Divyau Shankau Pradadmatuhu.
Tataha means during that time or after the war cry of Duryodhana and his army. After the noise from the side of Duryodhana, when it subsided, then after that is what Tataha. Tataha is an Avyaya. Tataha, it is Avyaya. After. So Tataha shows direction in terms of time. One follows the other. Therefore, Tataha, after. Direction in terms of the sequence of action. So, Panchami Vibhakti generally, you will see the usage in, one is Apadana, other one is directional. For direction, Panchami Vibhakti will be used. Direction could be in terms of time. It could be in terms of the physical direction. Direction it could be before, after. That is also direction. Before me, after me. Before this time, after this time. So in all the senses, Panchami Vibhakti is used. And also Panchami Vibhakti can be used for indicating the cause, the reason. But here it is tataha means after. After the noise which arose from the side of Duryodhana army, after the noise had subsided, then that is the meaning of tataha. It's an avyayam. Tataha Shvetaihi Hayaihi Yukte Mahati Syandane Stitau. Mahati Syandane. Syandana. Syandana is Rata. Syandana means Rata, chariot. Syandane Rate, Saptami Vibhakti. Syandane is Saptami Vibhakti, like Rama Shabda. Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, those Chandane is equal to Rate, Stitau. And the Rata is described, Mahati. It's not an ordinary chariot. It's a Mahati Syandane. Mahati, Mahat means huge, great. Great not in terms of size. Maybe in terms of size also may be huge. But in terms of its the quality, it is not an ordinary chariot. It is a divine chariot. It was gifted to Arjuna by the Devatas. The chariot may be a huge chariot. It may be a huge chariot because it was gifted by Devatas. When Arjuna was in Devaloka, so that time the Devatas they gifted this chariot. That is why Mahati Syandane, the great divine chariot, Stitau. Stitau is Dvivachanam. Two people were sitting on the chariot. That's why Stitau, Stitaha, Stitau, Ramaha, Ramau. Ramo is Dvivachanam. So Stitau, two people were seated on the chariot. In the big and beautiful, magnificent chariot. Stitau, seated. Firmly seated, comfortably seated. Who are those two people? It will come later. It's going to be described. Now, this chariot, which is drawn by the powerful white horses, Shvetaihi Hayehi. Haya means horse, Ashva. And the color of the Ashva is Shveta, white. So Shveta Hashva, Shveta Haya, Shvetaihi Hayehi. The description of the horse by the adjective Shveta. Shveta means white. So it's a Visheshana to the Visheshya, horse. Ashva, horse. And here the Haya the word is used. That also means horse only. Haya, Ashva, same. All these are Paryaya Shabda, synonyms. And the color of the Haya, the horse, is Shveta, white. Shvetaihi Hayehi Yukte. Yukte means yoked, joined, connected. The chariot, the Mahati Syandana, the great chariot, which are yoked with the horses. For what? Ready for action, ready for battle. The chariots which are yoked with the white horses, the beautiful white horses. The yoked shows that they are ready, shows the preparedness for the battle. So Shvetaihi, Hayaihi, Yukte, yoked, therefore drawn by the white horses. It was a huge chariot, and the divine chariot. And who are all the people sitting in the chariot? The most important person is Arjuna. Arjuna, the most important of the Pandava army, is seated. And more than Arjuna, Bhagavan himself is seated as the Sarathi. Sarathi, the Gita Acharya, Bhagavan Krishna. The Gita is yet to be unfolded. So, the future Gita Acharya, you can say, because the Gita has not been unfolded. So, it's only in the preparation. So, Krishna, who is going to be the teacher, for Arjuna, who is going to teach Gita in the battlefield, is the Sarathi, most important person, an important person of the Pandava army, Arjuna. These were the two people seated in the chariot. That is why Stitau Dvivachanam. Bhagavan Krishna was seated. Bhagavan Krishna and also Arjuna also. So Madhavaha Pandavaha Cha. Madhavascha Pandavaschaiva. Madhavaha referring to Lord Krishna. Pandava referring to Arjuna. The word Pandava can refer to any of the sons of Pandu. The Yudhishthira also Pandava only. Bhima, Nukula, Sahadeva. But here Pandava refers to Arjuna because Arjuna and Krishna, they are only in the picture now. So Bhagavan Krishna was seated and Bhagavan Krishna is seated in the chariot with a smile. He knows what is going to happen. And he has got a smile on his face because he knows what is going to happen, being the Lord. So he knows the war is not going to start immediately. So there will be a Gitopadesha. Arjuna will ask, Bhagavan Krishna knows. Therefore, Krishna was calm and quiet. But Arjuna was enthusiastic to fight. Krishna was calm and quiet, very composed. So Krishna seated, holding the reins of the horses, and Arjuna in the chariot is the Rathaswami, is a master. The chariot is driven by the Krishna. This scene is beautifully captured as the simile by the Kathopanishad. The Kathopanishad, you will see this is simile where the body is compared to the chariot. The body is compared to the chariot, and the sense organs are the horses, and the rein which the charioteer, the Sarathi, holds, that is the mind. And who is a Sarathi? Buddhi. Buddhi is the Sarathi because Buddhi is the deciding factor. Buddhi decides your destination. So allow the Buddhi to hold the reins of the mind and the reins controlling or holding the sense organs, the horses. Then only the Rathaswami, the master of the chariot, can reach the destination safely. So the intellect, let the intellect be your driver. Let the Buddhi does the job of thinking. Don't be carried over by the sense organs or the mind. The mind as well as the sense organs should be in the grip of the Buddhi. So beautifully this is presented in Kathopanishad. Atmanam ratinam vidhi shariram rathamevatu buddhim tu saratim vidhi manah pragrahamevacha. Sharira, the body is Ratha. Buddhi is Sarathi. Manaha is the reins. And who is the master? Atmanam Ratinam Vidhi. Know the Jivatma. Jivatma to be the master of the chariot, Rathaswami. The Jivatma can be taken to the destination only when it is handled by the Buddhi properly. So the Buddhi is important. Let the Buddhi do its function. Then what about the Indriyas? They are the horses. Indriyani hayanaguhu vishayagusteshu gocharan atmendriyamano yuktam bhoktetyahur manishinaha. Sense organs are compared to the horses. The horses, when it is not controlled, it will move here and there. Therefore, the sense organs will move towards sense objects. The sense objects are compared to the roads, the path. And therefore only sense organs are in the grip of the mind and finally in the grip of buddhi. Sense organs will function only when backed up by the mind. So the mind has to be under the grip of buddhi. Only when buddhi is intact, that can take the Rathaswami to the destination. So that is the imagery, beautiful imagery presented by Kathopanishad. Now here, the Arjuna, if he surrenders his buddhi, is thinking to the buddhi of Krishna, the teacher, the Krishna who is going to be the teacher. When he can identify his buddhi with the buddhi of Krishna, then Arjuna can reach the destination safely. But that identification has to come. Identifying with the buddhi of Krishna. When do you identify? Only when you receive the teaching. Only when you receive the teaching from Krishna, then only identification possible. Identification with the buddhi means the thoughts, the teaching of the Krishna should be understood by the Arjuna. Understanding the teaching which is going to be imparted by Krishna, and make the teaching your own, make it your own. That is what is identification. So when Arjuna identifies his buddhi with the buddhi of his teacher, would-be teacher Krishna, then yatra yogeshwara Krishnaha, yatra partho dhanurdharaha, tatra shir vijayo bhutir trvanitir matir mama. When that happens, then victory will be for Arjuna. There is no doubt, because yogeshwaraha Krishnaha asti, Arjunaha api asti. So where Yogeshwara Krishna is there and Dhanurdhara Partha is there, there will be Vijayaha, there will be victory. There will be Shrihi, Vijayaha, Bhutihi, Dhruva. There will be prosperity, there will be victory, there will be stability, there will be the order. So, having Krishna as a charioteer, as your buddhi, let the Jivatma be taken to its destination. That is the imagery, beautifully presented. And that is what is presented by this shloka also. And this shloka also, another important thing is, this is a shloka where Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna are introduced. First time it is introduced. Up to the previous shloka, shloka number 30, nowhere we have seen Arjuna and Krishna being introduced. This is a shloka where they are introduced. Now, Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna seated on the chariot. What are we doing? Madhavav Pandavaschaiva Divyau Shankau Pradadmatuhu. Madhava and the Pandava, that is Krishna Arjuna, Stitau Krishna Arjuna, Divyau Shankau Pradatmatuhu. Pradatmatuhu is lit lakara, remote past. Dhma means to blow. Pradatmatuhu, they blew. Dadmau dadmatuhu dadmuhu. Dadmau we saw. Bhishma, Shankam Dadmau Pratapavan. Because Ekavachanam, therefore Dadmau. Here two people are there, Madhava and Pandava, therefore Dadmatuhu. Pratama Purusha, Dvivachanam, Dadmatuhu. If it is Bhagavachanam, Dadmuhu. So here, Krishnarjunau, Magati Syandane Stitau Krishnarjunau, Divyau Shankau Pradadmatuhu. Divyau, Shankau, all these are Dvivachanam. Pratama, these are the Dvitiya Bhakti Dvivachanam. Dvitiya, because it has karma, object, therefore Dvitiya Bhakti Dvivachanam. Divyau Shankau, divine conscious. Divya, Divi Bhavam, Divyam. And also the conscious, what they have, obtained from the Arjuna, the conch which Arjuna had, it was obtained from the heaven, from the Devas. Therefore, all this Shanka and Bhagavan Krishna's conch also, all Divya Shanka, divine conches. So, celestial, Divya. It is not the Shanka what others had in the ordinary way. This was a special Shanka. Special Shanka. So, therefore, Divya Shankau Pradad Matuhu. They both sounded, they both blew their conches. So, after the noise from the Duryodhana army had subsided, Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna were the first to respond from the Pandava side, seated firmly in their beautiful, magnificent chariot, which are yoked with white horses. Then Krishna and Arjuna, one after the other, they blew their respective divine conches. Shankam Dadmau. Pratapavan. Shankam Dadmau. Iti. So, Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna both were introduced majestically by this shloka. So this verse brings the teacher and the student, that would be teacher and would be student. And the teaching is going to be started only in the second chapter only from the 11th shloka. Now, Vyasacharya, he prepares for the teaching. He prepares for the teaching by how? By silencing all the possible noise which may arise in us. First, the noise will be there. The noise has to subside. Then only teaching will start. Now, being the battle, there is noise all over. The noise has to subside. Then only the teaching can start. Similarly, there are noise inside of us also. We have a lot of noises, inner noises. Lot of noises in the form of anxiety, worry, hatred, desires, that too adharmika desires, a lot of confusions, conflicts. All these are the noises. Compared to these noises, the noise of the army is nothing. The inner noises overwhelm the noise of the two armies of the battle. So only when the noise subsides, the teaching will start. So, therefore, similarly, only after the noise, the battle will start. And before the battle starts, the teaching will start. So now here, there is only noise. So we have to wait for the noise to subside. Then only teaching will start. And the teaching will start only in the second chapter. Till that, there will be the noise, physical noise as well as the mental noise. Physical noise in the form of the noise what you hear from the instruments. And there are mental noises in the mind of Arjuna that he is going to just spit it out. You're going to see the first chapter, starting from the later shlokas, 22nd, 23 onwards. It's going to be the talking of only Arjuna. Arjuna will let out his noise. What were inside, mental noise, now everything will come out, and Bhagavan Krishna will listen to that. And finally, when he surrenders himself to Krishna, then only their teaching will start. So we have to be ready to hear the noise of the army as well as the noise of the Arjuna. So now both Pandava and Madhava, they blew their conches. And after they blew their conches, now the Vyasacharya, he gives a description of their conches, because they are not ordinary conches. They are special conches, and their conches have a name also. There are names associated with each conch. So Vyasacharya gives the names of those conches. Conches of only the important people. It's not a huge list. It is a short list. The names of conches of the Pancha Pandava and Lord Krishna. That is going to come in the next shloka. We can read. Panchajanyam Rishikeshaha
Panchajanyam Krishikeshaha
Devadattam Dhananjayaha
Devadatta
Ondram Dadmau Mahashankham
Aundram Dadmau Mahashankam
Bhimakarma Vrikodaraha.
Karma Vrikodaraha.
So names of the conches of Rishikesha, Dhananjaya and Bhima are given. And the next shloka after this, 15th shloka, you will find the names of the other Pandavas are also given. So Rishikeshaha is Bhagavan Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna, he has many names. One name is Rishikesha. Rishikesha. Rishikanam Ishaha Rishikeshaha. Rishikana means Indriyanam. Indriyanam, Rishikanam, Ishaha. Rishikanam, Ishaha. Ishaha is Lord. So Rishikanam, Ishaha, Rishikeshaha, the Lord of the sense organs. Or we can say the one who has mastery over the sense organs, being the Lord. Therefore, the sense organs naturally will obey. Sense organs are well under the grip of the person. That person is Rishikesha and is the Lord Bhagavan Krishna. Rishikanam Ishaha. So Rishikeshaha Krishnaha Tasya Shankasya Nama Panchajanyam. Panchajanya is the name of the Shanka of Rishikesha. So Rishikeshaha Panchajanyam Dadmau Iblu. Dadmau. Dadmatuhu. I said Dadmau is Pratama Purusha Ekavachanam. So we can form sentences. Rishikeshaha Panchajanyam Dadmau. Rishikesha, blue is conch Panchajanya, the name of the conch of Bhagavan Krishna. Then Dhananjayaha is a karta, Pratama Vibhakti. Dhananjayaha, Ramaha, Dhananjayaha. Ramaha means Ramaha Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. In the same way, Dhananjayaha, Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachanam is a karta. Dhananjayaha Dadmau. Dhananjaya refers to whom? Arjuna. Arjuna, blue. Dadmau, what? Devadattam. Devadattam Nama Shankam Dadmau. A blue is conch with the name Devadattam. So Devadatta is the name of the conch. Devadatta also is the name of Bhishmacharya. But that is not here. Here Devadatta is a conch, the name of the conch, what Arjuna had. And Arjuna is denoted by the word Dhananjaya. Dhanam Jayati, it is Dhananjaya. Dhanam Jayati, who has won lot of wealth because he conquered other kingdoms and gained lot of wealth. So, and also we can say that Dhananjaya was a man, was a Dharmika Purusha of success. He has accomplished material success. A certain contentment he has achieved. Materially successful. Great accomplisher. A man of great accomplishments. That is why now, being the battlefield, he will turn to be a spiritual person. From being a material, he will become a spiritual, because is done with the material accomplishments. Now he wants spiritual prosperity. That is why he becomes a Shishya to Bhagavan Krishna. So Dhananjayati, who is matured, materially matured. Materially matured means he has got enough of material accomplishments. Therefore is Dhananjaya, the word also, it shows the readiness on the part of Arjuna to receive the teaching, the spiritual teaching, Upadesha. So Dhanam Jayati, Dhananjayaha. And Devadatta. Devadatta is the name of the Shanka what Arjuna had. And this Shanka, is a Divya Shanka because it was obtained from the Devaloka. Indra himself gifted him the conch. That is why it's called Devadatta. Arjuna, once he went to heaven and he helped Devendra to fight the Rakshasas. And Indra was pleased and therefore he gifted him this conch, Devadatta. So, Dhananjayaha Devadattam Dadmau. Then the next person is Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. Vrikodaraha, Bhima Karma, these are the words which indicate that the next person who blew the conch was Bhima. Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. Bhima means why it's called Bhima Karma? Because he is a man of fierce and fearful karma. Fearful karma. Extraordinary karma. He is a man of doing dangerous, fearful, frightful karma. That's why it's called Bhima Karma. Bhima Karma means whose actions are terrible. Bhima Karma. And he's also Vrikodara. Vrika means wolf. Wolf eats a lot, but it always remains thin. It doesn't have, because he eats a lot, doesn't have belly like the pig. His stomach always will be flat. So Vrikodara. Vrikasya udaraha iva udaraha yasya saha bhimaha. He has the stomach, the belly, like that of a wolf. Bhima also eats a lot. And he is a very good cook. His cook is like Nalapaka. Nalapaka, the quality of food is Nalapaka. Nala, the famous for, is the first and the famous chef. Nala. And Bhima can cook like him. Nalapaka is Paka. Its cooking is Nalapaka. And he's a great, voracious eater also. But still, his stomach is always flat. It's not pot-bellied. So it is always flat. Even though he eats a lot, his stomach is like that of a wolf. So Vrikaha iva udaraha. Udara means stomach. Vrikaha iva udaraha yasya saha bhimaha. So Bhima, generally in the TV serial and all, they depict him as a tall, a huge person. But Bhima is not like that. His stomach is flat. It is straight. So Vrikodaraha. And is known for terrible karma, action, extraordinary, frightening, fearful karma. He can uproot the whole tree. He can by one hit he can break the pillar of the building. Bhima Karma. Tasya Shankasya Nama Poundraha. Poundra is the name of his Shanka. So Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha Poundram Dadmau. It means he blew his conch called Poundra. So the three names are given. One is Rishikesha, other one is Dhananjaya, the next one is Bhima. So these three plus other two, which is going to come in the next shloka. Other three, that is Yudhishthira, Nakula and Sahadeva. Other three will come. We will read that also. The names of the Shanka of Yudhishthira, Nakula and Sahadeva are given. Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha.
Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha.
Nakula Sahadevascha.
Nakula Sahadevascha.
Sughoshamani Pushpakau.
Sughoshamani.
Here, Raja. Who is the Raja? Raja, these are the words of Sanjaya. You have to note, these are the words of Sanjaya. Sanjaya used the word Raja before also. Raja Vachanam Abravit Drishtva tu Pandava Nikam Yudam Duryodhanastada Acharyamupasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. In the second shloka, Sanjaya said Raja. He used the word Raja, referring to Duryodhana. And here also he says Raja. Does it refer to Duryodhana? No. Here Raja means Yudhishthira. So Sanjaya uses the word deliberately the Raja to denote Yudhishthira. That is, he is suggesting that it is going to be the win for the Pandavas. Now the war is going to be started, the first day. Now at the end of the 18th day, you will come to know who will be the real king. It is not Duryodhana, it is going to be Yudhishthira. Kunti putraha Yudhishthiraha Sahayeva Raja. So that he indirectly tells Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya tells indirectly. Yudhishthiraha Raja. Kunti putraha Yudhishthiraha. Yudhishthiraha refers to Dharmaputra. Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira means the one who is stable in the battle. Yudhe. Yudhi. Stiraha. Yudhi Stiraha. Yudhi is fight. In the battle, the one who is stable is called Yudhishthiraha. And also it happens to be the name of the person, Yudhishthira or Dharmaputra. Kunti Putraha is a Raja. He blew his conch. What is the name of his conch? Ananta Vijayam. Ananta Vijayam Dadmau. Ananta Vijayam Nama Shankam Dadmau. Kaha Raja. Kunti Putraha. Yudhishthiraha. These are the Visheshana, adjectives to Raja. Kunti Putraha Yudhishthiraha Raja. Ananta Vijayam Nama Shankam Dadmau. Then Nakula and Sahadeva. Nakula and Sahadeva, the other two, they two were born because of the grace of Ashwini Devata, the twin Devatas, Nakula and Sahadeva. They blew their conch, Nakula and Sahadeva, Nakulaha Sagadevascha, Sugosha Mani Pushpako, respectively. Sugosha, Nakula. Sugosha is the name of the Shanka of Nakula, and Mani Pushpaka is the name of the Shanka of Sahadeva. So Nakulaha Sugosham Dadmau, Sahadevaha Mani Pushpakam Dadmau. Sugosham, not Sugosham. Nakulaha Sugosham Dadmau, Sahadevaha Mani Pushpakam Dadmau. Sugosha Mani Pushpakau Vidya Vivakti Dvivachanam. Nakulaha Sagadevaha Cha, these two, Sugosha Mani Pushpakau Nama Shankau Dad Matuhu. You can supply the Kriya Padam. Dad Matuhu. These two blew their conches with the name Sugosha and Mani Pushpaka. Following them, the other people on the side of the Pandava, they are also going to blow their conches and beat their drums, which is going to come in the next shloka, which we will see. We will see in the next class. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stanvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Dadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yantam Abhidasura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
Guruji, धन्यवाद शरणजी.
Dhanyavad.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
Thank you.